everyone. Episode 337. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212. You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me, guys? Okay, this is the Real Whovians 337, and Stephen Moffat is going to stay and remain as showrunner of Series 9 of Doctor Who next year. No surprise there. I don't think he was ever having any intention of leaving in 2015. So, what do you guys think? What do you think, Dr. Whovian?
I'm not surprised. I imagine he'll stay at least through Capaldi's run, however long that is.
Right.
And then whenever he leaves, they'll get a new doctor for a new showrunner. So I'm not surprised by this at all.
Yeah, I don't think he's. I think when Peter Capaldi does leave, that's when Stephen Moffat leaves, which may not be for a long time.
Let's hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's hope Stephen Moffat doesn't bore us with his boring alternative reality scripts.
Well, I mean, the thing is that I think that one thing Moffat will do is he will be the one to return Gallifrey to the forefront, and in our universe, I think something is going to occur when Gallifrey does return, where they can stay away from this whole Time War nonsense with the Daleks. Maybe the Daleks will be somehow severely depleted or punished, because we saw in Victory the Daleks, they were building their army, and we've seen in Asylum they have just that whole spaceship of just diplomats, and they even basically forgot to fight. But then there's the other part of the Daleks that have the Spider Daleks from Time of the Doctor. So I think they're all over the place, but I really believe that there's factions like they used to have from Remembrance of the Daleks, the Seventh Doctor and Ace's story. And I think that it's all part of a master plan with Davros. I think that we're going to eventually see that somehow, in order for the Time Lords to be in our universe without constant mention of wars and Time Wars and Time War 2 and all that, the Daleks are going to have to be severely depleted as a threat to the Time Lords. I really feel that's going to be the case, because it's not going to make any sense that the Daleks would want peace in the Time War. The Gallifreyans and the Time Lords are, well, the Time Lords mostly are, they've been so warmongering lately that, they wouldn't look for peace. So I would think that something would have to happen bad to the Daleks in order for them to come back. So,
well, because me and Dr. Whovian, we were talking about Gallifrey, weren't we, Dr. Whovian, on the Who Harmony, about something about Susan having a gravestone and that. What was that theory again?
We were just speculating on what this grave could be with the Gallifreyan script, and I said it could be anything. It could be him going into the far future and finding Susan's grave. I mean, she wouldn't necessarily have to be on Gallifrey, but because she was a Gallifreyan, they could put the script on her grave, and maybe that would tie up that. Or it could be Jenny's grave. I mean, it could be anything. I'm just saying, until we see it, we're not going to know.
I think the grave is something else. It's obviously meant to be rest in peace, we promise, meaning that they wronged somebody, and that, they put that on the tombstone. Now I don't know if that would be Susan or, I don't think it will be Susan or Jenny. I think...
Well, no, I was just speculating that it could be anything.
Yeah, I would think, believe it or not, you would think automatically it's the Doctor, but they just gave him a new cycle of regenerations, and I don't think they're going to start doing every time we have a new Doctor that he's going to die, and oh my God. They've done that with Tennant. They've done that with Smith. Yeah.
It could be Rassilon's grave. Maybe the Master killed Rassilon.
Yeah, that's what I've been wondering. What happened to Rassilon since the end of time? Has he been killed? Is he alive? Is he...
I think it's the Master, actually. I think they did that to the Master, knowing that they were the ones that created the drums, and maybe something happens where he redeems himself, or he's the reason why Gallifrey comes back. It could be that he is the reason that Gallifrey comes back. They're able to come through the cracks. So it could be that he dies, they think, and they put rest in peace, we promise, but then somehow he regenerates, and that's basically Series 9.
Yeah, I mean, it could be Romana. We don't know. It could be anybody.
Yeah. I've been wondering.
But if it was Romana, why would it say "we promise"? I mean, when you
say she was the president of Gallifrey.
Yeah, but why would it say "rest in peace, we promise"? What does that mean? That they won't wake her up? They won't restore her?
We don't know, because we just see a little picture. I mean, it's just like any. How many times have we seen little pictures and assumed something, and then when we see the episode, it's completely different than anything we imagined?
That's true. That's absolutely true.
Yeah, because the thing with Moffat is you think it's going to be someone dying, but then it's going to be something different at the same time, and you
I
try to
I,
mix the two.
I was talking in the cast last night, and I said that I really believe that when they come back from the tour, they're going to be filming the Christmas special, and after that's done,
Oh, well, it's funny because I was talking to Mike about this, about when are they going to start filming the Christmas special, and he reckons that for them to do the Christmas special, it'll be interesting for them to start before the world tour, and then that way they've got all the filming
they
wrapped,
they
so they can
can't
focus on the.
they can't because they're filming a two-part finale, so that's two episodes right now. That takes a couple of weeks for each one. They also have one other episode, I think the 10th episode. So
Yeah, 10th episode, yeah.
basically he has to do 4 episodes, and supposedly 3 are going to be completed. They're going to go on tour, and then he has to film the Christmas special. So as soon as he comes back, hopefully they get to finish those 3 episodes before the tour begins, which I believe so, because we're still in June. So I think that they'll finish the whole season. All have to do is the Christmas special. But I believe, as I said last night, that they are going to film something for Series 9 before Thanksgiving. I think that we will have a full season of 14 episodes next year because one of those episodes will be a 10-year anniversary, only because Matt Smith had made a commitment to Stephen Moffat that he will be available completely to do it. He's asked Stephen Moffat to do it. Now, Moffat wouldn't have to listen, but if he can get them to return, as well as David Tennant, and I think that this could be a multi-doctor story for a season 9 opener to do with Gallifrey. If you remember, all the doctors saved Gallifrey, right? Well, what kind of wonderful opening would it be that all the doctors return to see Gallifrey?
But
And that
why would the classic Doctors be in the 10th anniversary special? They don't really have.
because it's a continuation of the story arc with Gallifrey. They return, and they had the calculations to bring them back. So maybe they are a part of that. Like it's a continuation of the 50th in a way, where they have to deal with the massive threat of Omega or something while Gallifrey is about to return to our universe. That could be the only thing I can think of to tie in a multi-doctor story, is for Gallifrey to completely return.
But the thing is, in order for this to happen, it would also be nice, and I'm probably going to give this writer a hint, but it would be very nice if Russell T Davies actually starts saying, you know what, I'm actually going to do Doctor Who for the 10th anniversary. I just want Russell T Davies to go to Rooflock Studios, kick down the door of Stephen Moffat, and to actually consider to Moffat, I want to do a script for the 10th anniversary.
The problem with that, Sammy, is that he's committed to 2 series on NBC, which also everybody's flocking to. We got Karen Gillan on ABC. We're going to have Russell T Davies on NBC. We may have David Tennant on one of the shows. And rumor has it that John Barrowman is returning to the CW. So they're all on, the American channels. And I think that he may be too busy to return to Doctor Who. But if he is able to return, I'm sure he will be a part in writing the script or whatever. I think he would have a hand in the script because they're already using his idea for this rumored Ghost of Pompeii plot that he had with Peter Capaldi. Like Stephen Moffat flat out said that he's using his idea, and then he may even get a credit on it to do.
Oh yeah.
In fact, the 10th episode, that is the mystery episode that they're filming after finale, may be written by Russell T Davies.
I hope to God that Russell T Davies is going to say, "I'm back, kids," because if he does,
but that's the it's a rumor that mystery episode to be announced that could be Russell T Davies' script with Stephen Moffat.
I hope so. Now.
Because they're keeping it very secret, more than the finale, that 10th episode. So I don't know what that's about, but I mean, we do know that Mark Gatiss has the Ice Warriors coming back. We don't know when, but he's supposed to be doing 2 scripts.
I reckon if this 10th episode is going to be Russell T Davies' own material, then it's most likely Mark Gatiss' Ice Warrior story is going to be the Christmas special.
Possibly. And possibly that Russell T Davies' story is... Actually, I don't even... that's to do with Pompeii and all the faces of Peter Capaldi that has been, possibly. Maybe something else is going on that we don't know about. So.
Well, I hope Russell T Davies is going to come out and say, "Well, I'm glad to finally be back in Doctor Who," because if he does, that is going to be the first thing that's going to come into my head by the time Who Harmony hits.
Just so you guys know, there was also scripts written that are not used this year. Neil Cross supposedly penned the script, Stephen Thompson, as well as Neil Gaiman. Now, that stuff is still sitting in the background. That could be used for Series 9, okay? The rumor is that there's two rumors with Neil Gaiman. One that he's going to do a Weeping Angel story, another one that he's creating his new villain that's going to be for Peter Capaldi. And Neil Cross and Stephen Thompson, that I don't know what they're up to, but if you remember Neil Cross, I believe he did the Rings of Akaton and Hyde. So, you know.
Well, I think a lot of people are still angry with Stephen Thompson about Journey to the Center of the TARDIS, that whole garbage reset button that.
Well, I think that as long
year.
as we don't have the movie posters to promote it like a movie, I think we'll be fine, because then the expectations won't be out the window. Right, Dr. Whovian?
Yeah, I'd love to see Terrence Dix write a script.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, I would love to see him back. He's a bloody genius in some of his scripts. Jeez.
He would be a great writer for Capaldi.
Right. I'm
By
still
the way,
questioning. Yeah.
Have you fellows seen that article on Doctor Who TV this morning where Moffat challenges the Whovians to find one instance where the Doctor says he's not human?
Yeah, I saw that article. I'm like, what's he on about? You know?
He lost his mind. Pyramids of Mars. I'm not a
Right,
human.
the Doctor says
Time
it.
Lord.
So
I walk in
Sarah-
eternity.
Yeah, that's so easy.
Yeah, I mean, for God's sake, what's wrong with Moffat? Can't he just look back at classic series like everyone else? I mean,
Right. He's ridiculous.
I
He's
know.
been
I
out
mean,
drinking with G Doctor.
Huh?
I said, has Moffat been out drinking with G Doctor? Is that
Probably.
that's what I've been wanting to know, and I'm getting kind of worried for the guy. But it's funny because Supreme Pro Viper, one of my YouTube subscribers, gave me some very interesting details about a Doctor Who Series 8 trailer coming for Saturday the 12th of July, which I was a bit surprised myself when I read it, and I was like,
I wouldn't be surprised about a trailer coming in July, only because that's when Comic-Con in San Diego happens around that time, and I think that, you know, you guys are going to get it first this time, because you guys got burned
we're going to be
last
first.
time.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, which means we'll all be first, because we all get to see it for once.
With the internet, we all get it at the same time. So.
Yeah, it's just funny how what I really laugh is how little the 50th anniversary was promoted, yet we already had a teaser for Peter Capaldi, and I think that's just amusing how maybe this time around with the marketing they got their act together, you know. And the only thing I hope is that in Times Square they put as many billboards and posters up for Doctor Who that they did for Orphan Black, which I don't know if you saw Times Square in New York, like some of the videos I did, but there was Orphan Black posters everywhere. They promoted the living crap out of that for BBC America. So I expect to see Peter Capaldi and Jenna Louise Coleman big posters all over the place in New York.
Oh yeah, of course you're going to, because I mean, as well as that, he also mentions about like interviews coming out, a possible mini-sode is on the go,
Right.
previews, posters, additional trailers, and it's going to be
amazing.
jam-packed next month.
That's amazing to me, because where I live, I have never seen a billboard or a poster for a television show in my life.
Right. Well, you know what I'll do, Dr. Whovian? I will go to Times Square today, and I'll show you how they promote stuff in New York.
Yeah, they sure don't do that down here.
I know. All right, guys, listen, I hate to end the cast, but we're going to have to do this tonight. I have to go, but I just want to welcome again Dr. Whovian and Sammy Carter for being on here, and I also want to promote the return of one of the most wonderful shows in Doctor Who history for YouTube, and that is the return of the Whovians podcast on Saturday and Sunday at 1 p.m.
For those of you who don't know, what you got right here is 3 of the original cast members from the Whovians podcast. 3 of the founders right here.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
That's right. Back in the day, I tell you, one of the greatest things was Dr. Whovian, that you got us all together to do this wonderful show, and you're basically the founder, you're the creator, bringing us all together, and you know all these shows would not be around, now, like even the Real Whovians cast, I'm sure the Omega Files, everything, if you didn't bring and start the Whovians podcast. So
I appreciate that. I have to tell you though, when I did gather everybody together, the first thing I thought to myself is, I can't believe these guys haven't gotten together before.
Right.
Because you're all so great with your videos. I'm like, it's
Yeah.
like the Avengers. You got great heroes. Let's bring them together.
Well, you know what it was? It was like me and Sammy Carter did our own thing, and
Yeah.
we did our podcast together. And I talked to Dr. Freedom, on Skype all the time, and we didn't do any podcasts together, but we were all like just talking amongst ourselves, but never. The only person I ever did podcast with was Sammy Carter. I didn't get a podcast together with Pissy the Clown or Michael Shannon, and I didn't even know G Doctor until like Sammy introduced him.
I mean, Dr.
So,
Whovians said it was me who introduced Romana and G Doctor at the same time, and I was like,
yeah, yeah, Romana too, and also I didn't know Carol Ann until Michael Shannon introduced me to her, and I met the Ronnie,
We all
Deborah.
met Carol Ann on a Whovians podcast. He brought her on. That's where we met her.
Right. And I brought Nerd on the the Who and One, which that was your show before, way before even
No,
Whovians podcast.
no, it wasn't. That was Who Knows Who.
Oh, Who Knows Who? Okay.
Who in One is the one I started that. Sammy and I did.
yeah, me and Dr. Whovian did that starting
Right.
point. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Who in One? Yeah, Who in One was your show that you started.
Who in One was our first spinoff from the Whovians podcast. Who Knows Who was the show I used to do with the Young Doctor.
Right. But it's just amazing how everybody came together. I mean, I introduced you guys to Stephen Price, who I used to do stuff with back in the day. And I think I don't know if we.
That Who in One, that one was a classic.
I know. Somebody has it somewhere, I'm sure.
No, we never aired it because remember when I was recording it and I went to play it back, he didn't record. It was just you.
Oh, okay. Wow.
It was a Skype malfunction, but that was a unique one because you had an audience of two. Me and Michael Shannon were watching it live, and we were just laughing ourselves silly.
And I think Stephen Price was a little shy because.
Well, for those who don't know, in those days, Matrix Lord would ask, and this was Stephen Price was new to podcasting. Matrix Lord would ask him a question, and he would say yes or no and nothing else.
Yeah.
So kind of an interesting.
Right. I mean, he had done podcasts before a little bit, but on the scale where it wasn't as promoted. So
and it was also it was the first time he'd been had a one-on-one interview with somebody.
Right. So. That was the thing. So, I mean, it was just, of course, when you first start out, you're very nervous and stuff. But look at him today, man, with all these pictures that he's got. And meeting Peter Capaldi like twice, which I'm sure he'll meet him a third time before the season starts. And I'm just very proud of all the Whovians. I mean, everybody has their own shows. Everybody's been doing their own thing. And it's going to be nice to get everybody together in one big Who Summit, Who thing with their Whovians podcast. Everybody come together again.
That's why it's perfect because it was the first, so it should be the one where we can all come back together.
Right.
Yeah,
so,
I think the hint that Dr. Whovian is suggesting is that this one should be based around the original team.
Well, I think the originals, but new people too. I think it should be like, if I can use an analogy with the X-Men. Sometimes the original X-Men are together, but there's always new ones. So it should be that way with the Whovians podcast. Right.
So, again, Dr. Whovian, I thank you for everything. And Sammy Carter, got to watch your Who Harmony. I think you guys did a Who Harmony, right? I didn't get to see that yet.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
All right, guys. That's it. Take care. Bye for now.